morning and welcome to Guatemala. This is the first time that we've ever been here, so we're gonna need a little help of narration because I don't know what we're doing today.
Welcome to Puerto Quetzal, which doesn't have much, so join us as we travel to the beautiful city of Antigua, Guatemala, where we'll take a walking tour throughout this old city, do some shopping, and sample some local cuisine.
But if you've forgotten, we're on a 15-day Panama Canal cruise. We're going from Los Angeles to Miami, and this is day 8. Oh my gosh, it's day 8. If this was a regular 1-week cruise, today would be the day that we get off the cruise, but we're actually still going. But first, Guatemala. And I don't know how to say that port name. Cya Real Soon, Norwegian Bliss. Welcome to Guatemala. And I don't know how to say the port that we're in. Sorry about that. As soon as you get off the ship, it's time to cross a bridge. Just a heads up that this port's a little bit lower than others, so you're gonna have a steep incline down. So for those of you who are in wheelchairs, you might have a bit of a problem, but Uncle Brian was able to make it down just okay. I don't think I've ever been so close to the water level when getting off on a ship. And I think that has to do with the fact that we had a steep incline getting down. Welcome to Puerto Quetzal. Either way, we're at the tourism terminal number 1. Because we are number 1. Thankfully, as soon as you get off, you will be met with information.
This is the city hall, the royal palace is the cathedral church, and for me, this is the best place. Santo Domingo. Santo Domingo today is a very nice hotel, but 475 years ago.
It's a good thing that they have that because we don't actually have any plans here in port. Tried to book an excursion, but they all were really sold out. And plus, we have Uncle who does have a scooter, and it seems like a lot of these tours are on vans or smaller buses, meaning that they can't take a scooter. Just as a future reference, if you're ever here, you may not be able to go on a tour if you have a scooter or a wheelchair. It just seems to be the case in Guatemala more so than other ports. But our hope is we're gonna try and find a taxi, see if they can fit the scooter in, because it does fold up in our case, and we'll try to get out to Antigua, which is the colonial city that we're heading towards.
Are you smiling yet?
Then once outside of the tourism board, then you have a bunch of different little shops.
Or you want a private car, we'll give you a private car. 50 per person.
So one thing that we've definitely noticed is that there's not as many options here as there are in other ports. Usually you're getting swarmed by a ton of people, but there's probably only realistically 1 or 2 companies here. So when it comes to the taxi service, it's not a bidding war like normal, but we did get it for $350 for the 4 of us in a private van, which, perfect. It would have been $70 a person for the other tour, so I think the math lines up. Do you need help getting your scooter out?
Alex.
All right.
Yes, Alex. Let me know.
So no phones here. No service, do not turn it on.
Thank you.
We have a whole van just for the 4 of us. So we've made our first stop, and it was just a nice view of the volcano, which is an active volcano. There's 3 active volcanoes here, and that's one of them. You can see some of the smoke from the volcano. That is actually kind of crazy. And Heather and Roger getting some coffee. Also, Guatemala is known for their coffee, second to Colombia, and they're also known, their #1 export is sugar. But we've been on the road for about 40 minutes, and we still have another 25 minutes to go. We've made it to the city of Antigua, which is now an hour and a half journey to get here, but we finally made it. Uncle Brian's staying in the car, but the big popular attraction that was highlighted to us was the arch, which I kind of understand what it's for. It was a convent for people to pass over. Anyways, I'm just along for the ride. One thing that I noticed is once we got to the city is that it is a lot of cobblestone, so the ride is a rough one. Just a short walk away, we've made it to Central Park. Not the one that you're thinking of, no, the Central Park here. So when you do come to Antigua, they do have a jade factory that you can take a tour of, where they show you some of the history of jade. They show you that they're making jade there, and you can buy it for yourself as well. I think it was in the ballpark of maybe $500 for a piece, just depending on what you're looking at. Hard to tell. But they did have the book for Mayan symbols. They allowed you to look up your birthday and find what sign you are. I already forgot mine, but mine is sun. But my animal is a shark. I always knew I was like a shark. We did finish up in the Mayan market, which I think is what it was called. That's the, it was an indoor market with a lot of shops and basically a bunch of little booths that were selling pretty much the same thing all across. They're willing to deal there if you're willing to work for it. They start high, and if you bring them down a little bit lower, then most of the prices are pretty reasonable. Our guide was saying that, in his opinion, is the cheapest place to buy things, but I'm not sure whether we should take that at face value or not. So that's what our guide says. All I know is that it's really warm and the terrain is really rough. So handicap accessible, the city is not one for those in a wheelchair or those that have a difficult time walking. We're crossing back by the arch to get to a Mayan church. But interestingly enough, it is pretty much cleared up since the first time we came here. So if your tour brings you here the first stop, you're gonna find a lot of people here. But later, it seems to clear up. So we made it to the church. Woo! I believe he said that this was made by Mayan hands with stone. I will say one of the nicest things about Antigua has been the architecture. Everything is so beautiful. All the buildings, the colors, it's phenomenal. Though there is a museum here at the church. It does cost $2 a person to get in, but the outside is really where it's at. Look at that. So we ended up doing it. It was $3 a person, sorry, close enough. But we have to walk in and, well, we'll see what we'll see. I know they said museum, but I mean, selfie. They do allow you to go up and then get a good overall view of everything, of the courtyard, which is beautiful. But I haven't seen the part about the museum where we learned anything yet. We made it back in the van. We got some food from one of the carts, got Guatemalan food, which we may have not anticipated how difficult it might be to eat while driving over cobblestone. But anyways, we got something for Uncle too, who was not with us the entire time. All right, we got a Guatemalan taco. Now that the road's kind of no longer cobblestone and it's flat, I'm gonna try eating it. That's different. It's good, but I don't know. It's interesting. So there's potato in the middle, and then they put meat on the top with guacamole. I think it's good. I think Uncle will like it if you'll ever decide to eat, but he doesn't want to eat.
Just covered my butt.
Literally.
Yeah.
He's worried that in the hour drive,
At least an hour drive.
at least an hour drive, he's gonna have to use the restroom, which is a fair concern because we do have a long drive. But still, it's great food. It's hot now. Not gonna eat it now.
I'll take a bite.
It's good.
Like a taquito.
Yeah, it's like a taquito. It's the stuff that goes on top. Yeah, the salsa, the guac, and the beef. That's what really makes it.
Yeah. It makes it.
We've made it back to the port, and now it's time for probably more shopping. There's shopping when we got back. There's shopping over here. Lots of shopping. Just as a side note, if you ever come to Guatemala, Quetzal, which is their dollar here, $1 US dollar to 7 Quetzal. Rough transaction, I think. I'm probably so off in the math. Welcome back home. When we get back aboard, and it's not so windy, we'll have a chat. As we're setting sail, look at that. Was not expecting to see that. That is a huge fire. I'm not sure what's burning, but I'm glad we're not in that. Nice to be back. Was a great day in Guatemala, but just want to warn you, if you ever go yourself, if you go to Puerto Quetzal on a cruise, it's really far from anything. It'll be at least an hour plus drive to anything, and a lot of the excursions that we could have done through Norwegian would have been super long, 6 hours plus. Our family went on a 9-hour tour, and I would not have done that. Started the day at 7 a.m. and ended at 4:30. That would have been crazy. But what we did was fantastic. We found it for the right price. Everything went well. It was private. We got to see what we wanted. We walked around the town a bit. There aren't very many options here, so just be prepared. There's not going to be a lot of that that hassle of having to pick and choose from different tour companies, which usually gives you the advantage of having, you know, to be able to price against each other, but there's none of that. It's just all one company, it seems like. Anyways, as we set sail, tomorrow is going to be exciting because tomorrow we're gonna try to do every single Norwegian Bliss activity that we can without spending any money, which might be hard, might be easy, I'm not sure, but you'll have to check out tomorrow's video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, this isn't a goodbye, but just a see ya real soon.